Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to our Monday community race. And in honor of our upcoming holiday, we're going to get a little one-on-one time tonight with Free Enterprise's favorite power couple, Cecil and Rosa. Joining me tonight behind the scenes, running things is Oscar424, tracking is Aegis, and joining me in the commentary booth is Gambito17. Are you ready for date night tonight, Gambit?
I am ready, and we've got some spicy objectives for this date night. We need to find and defeat our mirror self, that is the Dark Knight Cecil. We need to forge the Excalibur, so Cecil's got a nice little weapon to use. Complete the Tower of Zot, because, well, we need to rescue our girlfriend, of course. And cure the Sand Ruby, because, same thing. Gotta make sure she's all nice and well from that fever she's got. Defeat all those, they'll get you to Crystal, and then we go to a two-man Zoroas fight.
That's going to be one busy date night tonight. Our four runners tonight, Commander Leonhardt, Solaris, Possum Morpheus, and Jeebus O. I'm sure they are all up for it.
I'm sure they are, and I'm looking forward to this date night flags brought to you by our wonderful top left runner, Commander Leonhardt. This was his suggestion, brought about for the community, picked for this lovely Valentine's Day week. Remember, if you want to suggest any type of flag sets, you can type !box, I believe, in chat, and that should bring up the links for some suggestions if you have any. We always love suggestions from our community members, and every once in a while we do pick some of them, as seen by here.
Absolutely, and I think it's only right that Commander Leonhardt has to suffer on stream with these flags that he's let loose upon us. Though they are a really fun, interesting flag set. I played one this weekend. It was quite fun.
Oh yeah, the premise is only Cecil, only Rosa, no dupes, so 2-character party, and have fun.
The difficult part is going to be the early part of the seed where you have the Dark Knight Cecil, who's not really that powerful of a character, so Rosa's going to have to do the heavy lifting early until you can get to Mount Ordeals to unlock Paladin Cecil.
But things can be a little bit better depending on what type of gear you get. Find a decent bow and some decent arrows for that Rosa, and she can carry you the entire game if you really want her to. Keep Cecil down at level 1, keep him as an agility anchor, let Rosa take the day.
Absolutely true. I mean, it all depends on what kind of loot you find, what's being sold in the shops. We are on T Wildish in this set, so the more out-of-the-way locations will have the better gear. We'll be interested to see if any of our runners do decide to go a little bit off the beaten path to try to find some of that good gear.
I wouldn't be surprised if we find an exit early in the shop to see some people go, say, Watery Pass or some other of these places and do a full loot off. It looks like we are underway. Going to walk down the stairs, pick up our Rosa, have our party, and hey, looky there, there's our first objective, handing us a glass hat.
Well, that means we don't have to do a long, drawn-out boss hunt tonight, which I'm sure our runners are very happy for. The glass hat is a very nice piece of defensive gear, but probably not the kind of item that they would have loved to see early on.
You would have loved to see something practical like a magma key or even a bearing key, so you had knowledge and already got access to that boss. As it is, we've got a lot of scouring the world to do to find a couple key items, and interested to see where everyone decides to go first.
And here we have Navy giving us our rundown of tonight's date night. Again, 4 objectives to complete, get the crystal, and then defeat Zeromus as a couple.
I mean, here we see Divergence pretty much already. We got Possum Morpheus and Solaris going straight for Watery Pass. Commander Leonhardt heading to Troya, and Jeebus going into Castle Evelyn.
Again, Castle Evelyn and the Watery Pass being a couple of those incentivized locations, especially Evelyn with the trapped chests. We do have the free key item on tonight. We don't have to do a Demist hunt, so that is what Commander Leonhardt's picking up. Is going to be the Luca key. Tuck that in your back pocket. You won't need that for now.
Yeah, Luca Key's a good find early, though. Again, with these 2 characters, nobody can cast Warp, so no need for the Warp glitch. You're going to have to walk Luca if you want to go down there. If one of the key items we need is down there, rather have that early than late.
Leonhardt also taking the time to take on the side half of the treasury that is open, doesn't need the Earth Crystal for.
Saw a couple good items there. It's an Archer Bow for Rosa. I'm pretty sure I saw a couple Cure 2s. A Ninja Hat also going to be a good find early on. Give you some extra agility.
Yes, any kind of good bow, good set of arrows, that's exactly the kind of thing you're looking for at this point in the seed to try to get you at least 2 ordeals.
Commander taking the time to go shopping. We've got Medusa arrows in the shop down here in Troya.
Picking up some good weapons for other characters. I saw Gungnir Spear, I saw Dragon Whip. Those are basically just money in this seed because we know we're not going to be seeing any of those characters tonight.
That's definitely one good thing about only having 2 characters. Ooh, Solaris picking up a black sword deep inside a watery pass. That's going to be great for Cecil pre-ordeals.
That's about the one exception to Dark Knight Cecil not giving you the amount of damage you'd want early on. That will definitely be a nice boon to his damage output until he becomes a paladin.
Solaris taking advantage of the exits he had in the starter kit, exiting out of the watery pass. Commander Leonhardt going to go ahead and dive down that antlion, see what's down there. Pastor Morpheus making the checks over in Troya, looting the Minry Treasury, going to go get his Luca key. And Jeebus landing outside Troya as well.
I saw crystal something in Jeebus's looting of Eblin. I did not see if it was a piece of armor or an actual sword. If it was a crystal sword, that's the seed right there.
I don't think it was a sword. I'm pretty sure it was either a ring or a hat. But I'm not positive.
And it looks like all of our other runners are going through Troya, picking up that free Luca key and getting a little extra item on the side. Leonhardt's just about at the bottom of Antline. We'll see who the first boss is tonight. I see Leonhardt picked up 2 heroine robes. That's exactly the kind of item you're looking for at this point in the seed to get Rosa's damage output up strong.
Oh yeah, heroine robe Rosa with a decent bow. I'd like something better than an archer, but still can carry you early game with no questions whatsoever.
Yeah, it looks like everyone is just walking through Troya, doing a little extra shopping. Looks like Leonhardt is all equipped up, ready to go.
I'm trying to watch Jeebus' screen to see if I see his inventory at all.
There is a crystal sword there.
It is. Yep, it's a crystal sword. So Jeebus is set.
That's a kind of an out of the way place. Eblin isn't normally in the looting routing of most runners, so that could be a big boost to his chances this seed.
And then Commander Leonhardt put the heroine robe on Rosa, and then you find the one boss you'd rather not have the heroine robe on because 1 cure 2 cast would have probably finished this.
True, but you still see that damage output being done there. 3 shots should take care of this boss. Yeah, no problems whatsoever.
Very true. So we'll have to see what we end up getting from Mylon Z down here in Antlion. It's a rat tail.
Another thing to put in the back pocket, once we find the hook, we can turn that in.
Speaking of, we've got Solaris going to go ahead and raise their hovercraft.
And it looks like Pos Morpheus is going to be following Leonhardt down the Antlion Cave very shortly.
Solaris right behind him, using the hovercraft to get over to Antlion. Love to see it.
Since we saw Dark Knight Cecil as the very first boss in Baron, and we don't have to worry about a demist fight, means we don't really have to do a lot of searching. We don't have to go through Mist Cave. We don't have to look at Mount Hobbs. We don't have to look at the waterfall. So it's going to be a little quicker than otherwise might have been just from seeing that DKC early.
Mute arrows and poison arrows in the Mysidia weapon shop for Commander Leonhardt.
That's exactly the kind of arsenal we want to see for Rosa this early.
There's also a Dwarf Axe there if you really, really wanted to back row your Cecil with something easy, but considering the fact that Paladin Cecil can use bows and arrows anyway, no real need to pick it up.
Saves you a little bit of time on the menuing, but definitely not absolutely necessary. And it looks like Leonhardt is happy enough with his loadout right now, feels he can take on ordeals and get this Paladin Cecil unlocked for him.
I like this play by Leonhardt. He's going to go ahead and say, look, I've got the power couple. Rosa's already kitted out for archery. Let's just go ahead and get this done.
Boss Morphe is having no problem with Mylon Z, as you might expect.
So one good thing about having the knowledge that Dwarf Axe is there in Basidia is when we get down towards the end of the seed, if we need something to lower Cecil's agility just a little bit, we know where we can buy one.
No, that is true. With only 2 characters available, a lot of our usual agility tricks, we're going to have to be very clever at if we're going to want to do them in this kind of seed.
We've got Baigan in the front spot here on Ordeals.
Definitely not a bad place to find him. This front spot is relatively weak and shouldn't pose too much of a danger.
In the meantime, we've got Solaris picking up the rat tail, Jeebus about to pick up the rat tail, Morpheus following Commander Leonhardt straight on over to Ordeals.
It feels like these runners have picked up some very good gear early on, and I definitely do not dislike this play at all. Get the Paladin Cecil going, get the levels going, get on with the rest of the seed. The thing that I think we should point out is that the only place we're going to be getting key items this seed is going to be from the main key item spots. We don't have K Summon on or K Moon on, so that means we're getting a lot more key items quicker. We normally would get some good equipment in these spots in the other seeds, but we find that most of the time we will be getting key items in these early checks.
Yeah, Moon's going to be completely haunted this seed since we know where that DKC is. No need to even go up there at all. Also, you've got your P chest, so your pass is going to be in a chest, which kind of warrants looting once you get underground quite a bit.
And we have Solaris doing a little diversion, going through Fabul first, finding a homecoming karate man.
He's just trying to come back home to Sheila. Why are you trying to keep him out? I mean, it's his date night. He's coming home to take his wife on a date. Guys, come on now.
Sorry, we only have room for one couple in this game, I'm afraid.
Also, Solaris, I just noticed, found an elven bow somewhere. That is a big pickup.
It's another very nice piece of gear for Rosa there. Leonhardt did get through Baigan, is now facing Antlion in the back attack spot, especially with the Rosa throwing out aim, which won't trigger that counter. It's a very nice boss to find there.
Yeah, still going to hit decently hard, but with that aim command not triggering those counters, should be able to be manageable using the Cure 2s you got in your inventory. Our tracker, you just pointing out the Fabul Armory had the Elven Bow and a Black Sword, and that's a Darkness Crystal you get for defending Fabul.
Funnily enough, that Darkness Crystal might not be required. If we can find a pass in the chest, we really have no reason to raise the whale.
Very, very true. And the Leonhardt is through Antlion as it dissolves very slowly on the screen. You've got Jeebus defeating the Karate Man, trying to return home, and Morphe is going into the Antlion fight.
We'll soon see what is the reward on top of Mount Ordeals, aside from, of course, Paladin Cecil.
Part of me is hoping it's a vanilla Legend Sword.
That is required. I'm sure runners would not hate to see that.
Well, it is another required item. It is the Earth Crystal.
It's a very nice item. Gets you access to that treasury. When you get to it this early in the game, you definitely find some very good, strong items that you'd definitely use for the rest of the seed. Normally, you'd also be happy to find the 2 character checks up there, but I have a feeling we know who's going to be at the top of the tower.
What are Rosa and Rosa?
That is correct. And we'll have a quick D-learner fight once we get into the mirrored room. It looks like both Solaris and Jeebus at the same time are going to be taking that Darkness Crystal and raising the whale. So as of yet, none of our runners have found their way to underground access, either finding the hook or the magma key. I think we have 2 spots left to check with the Baron Inn and the Tower Zot. Although theoretically it could be also the trade-in for that rat tail if we find a hook.
In fact, you could have the hook at one of these 2 spots and the rat tail being magma key, which I would love to see if, we find a hook and someone goes there instead of checking that rat tail, and we find, say, a Valvalis or Rubicante, and you know for a fact, hey, hold on, my magma key somewhere else.
Especially with only the 2 characters available, you can definitely construct some scenarios where that hook route is just plain nasty.
So here's a scenario I just thought of. What happens if we end up finding the Sand Ruby somewhere before we find Baron Key? Do you think it's feasible we have some people go into Baron, take on that Dark Knight at Bigan, and walk back out?
That is possible. Especially if you have other checks available. I personally wouldn't do it. I would just complete it just because you still are looking for that Legend Sword and the Adamant. But it is definitely a on the table.
Well, Commander Leonhardt's going to give chat what they want. We're going to rate that treasury.
Power Shirt Staff is nice. There's a Mazamune, Artemis Bow, and Zeus Gauntlets are both very nice. And a Crystal Sword. Another Zeus Gauntlet.
Yeah, I would give that treasury probably about a 9 out of 10.
Crystal Sword, Artemis Bow, Power Shirts, Crystal Ring. I'm going to give it the 10. I mean, especially for this party composition, I cannot think of what else we might want to see aside from Adamant Armors.
That's very, very true. That is a very, very nice treasury, and I think Commander Leonhardt's going to be very happy getting that Artemis Bow onto that Rosa immediately, that Crystal Ring. Probably going to see that Crystal Sword and the Zeus Gauntlet go on Cecil if it's not already.
That's going to be a bit of unfortunate news for Jeebus, who did find that Crystal Sword in Eblin earlier. I'm sure he would have hoped that would have given him a much better leg up. It looks like everyone's going to have access to a Crystal Sword rather early on.
Well, as Infinius in chat points out, it's also something you can actually sell for Sirens if you find them.
Fingers crossed that you find those Sirens, because otherwise the grinding options are not ideal. I guess you have Mac Giant on the table, you can do doors, but otherwise, if you needed a lot of experience quickly, it's going to be difficult to come across.
I did see we found Ogre Axes in, I want to say it was the Haggart shop on Solaris' side. So that Mac Giant definitely could be a thing. Zeus Gauntlet and Ogre Axe Cecil covering Rosa and just go to town. Or you've got that Artie Bow. Find some Artie arrows somewhere. You can go for some gold dragons if you do find Sirens.
On the flip side, it's not like you need a ton of levels to get up to Z levels with these characters. As long as Rose has Cure 4 and a decent amount of hit points, Cecil would be fine by the mid 40s. So you don't probably need to do a lot of grinding in order to get up to Z levels with this party.
Sure, those Medusa arrows we found earlier, this is a spot they would be very helpful in.
Yes, the bosses that don't have that boss bit flipped on are not immune to things like stone or fatal, so that would be a potential to get an instant death proc on this boss.
And that's what Commander Leonhardt's going for, and gets it.
In the right situations, with the right characters and equipment, those Medusa arrows can really do lots of quick work on some of these bosses.
Commander Leonhardt showing off some intricate knowledge of the way FF4 works, waits for the Dark Hit to take the action before queuing his, ensuring that he gets the right ATB to get that stone proc.
That was a relatively new discovery, I believe, in Free Enterprise, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. It's been a couple months now, 6-7 months, give or take.
Got Jeebus through the Mount Ordeals, about to get his Paladin. Solaris is taking on Baigen. Shortly, we'll be getting through Ordeals on his side. And it looks like Postmorphus is going to also grab that treasury and go up Zot.
In the meantime, we find Rosa in the Kane slot, and I got good money on Rosa being in the second spot too. What do you think?
Oh, wow. That just seems so repetitive. I can't imagine what the odds are that, oh my goodness, you're right. You must be psychic.
Add to channeling the commentator's curse seed from a couple weeks ago.
And we see Postmorpheus is currently fighting the most evil boss of the game, the inventory boss. And Leonhardt finds the Mega Sisters in French Vanilla location.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a nasty fight in this location, because this is decent magic power with the Val spot. But those meat arrows along with that Artemis bow ought to make quick work.
Ooh, yeah, there's that bounce fire too, giving 1,000 damage on Cecil. So it's going to be a rush down the boss to see if we can get through here quickly. And I think he's going to be fine.
Thankfully, the charm bouncing off of the previously reflected wall, so that is the end of the Magus Sisters.
Hoist upon their own petard there.
So that'll be objective number 3 done for Commander Leonhardt, the first of our featured runners to be done with at least one objective. However, we do have our 4 featured runners. There are 24 total runners, I believe, in this race. Just the 4 that we're featuring here on screen for you tonight.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful how many people are coming out, especially on a flag set like this, which can look a little daunting. I'm just happy to see so many people coming out and give this a try.
Yeah, but that is our underground access. That is the hook from Tower Zot.
Well, we can certainly check that rat tail. We can certainly also check the buried inn. But if you wanted to go down the hook route right now, wearing all that nice gear you just got from the treasury, I would not complain.
Meantime, Solaris has picked up his Earth Crystals, about to see his DA Lunars here in the Crystal Room on Ordeals. Morpheus making the save, about to take on the fights in Zot, and Jeebus raiding that treasury.
One thing that Commander Leonhardt and Postmorpheus haven't done yet is gone to Fabul, do the defense there. I don't know if they're going to want to do that now, or they are just want to make a D line underground using the hook route. We will have to see.
I think with hook in hand, they probably go straight on the ground. They probably fade for Bull and try to pick up a Sheila 1 check with it. Thankfully, not going to hurt him too badly since, again, just Darkness Crystal and it's K main, so nothing up there. That's a Sand Ruby from the Rat Tail.
Well, that's going to be number 4 checked off the list. We already know where number 1 is. We just need to find the Baron key, so we are down to trying to locate 3 key items, basically.
Asuka, did you have somewhere you needed to be tonight?
Of course, I have played many a seed where you got a lot of the important key items early, and then you wound up going a full 17 for 17 trying to find the last key item. So let's not be too hasty.
Oh yeah, no. I've had 5 objective seeds where the first 4 are done 30 minutes, and the last one's at 2 hours. So I feel you.
But it will potentially open up some very interesting possibilities once we do get underground, because we'll have a lot of different places we can go to try to find those last couple of key items. So if a runner makes a very clever or very lucky choice, they can find themselves with a good lead going into the end of the game.
Yeah, the interesting thing here is we only have, I believe, 3 gating key items, 4 gating key items left. You've got the Baron key, Twin Harp, Tower key, and Pan. Those are the only 4 checks left that can gate key items. Commander Leonhardt's going to go Baron in, which I'm glad to see. That's an alt gauntlet at the first spot of Baron in.
Ooh, that is going to take some time. It's not going to be difficult necessarily. It's just going to be time consuming. This might be one of those cases where you might say, I'll catch you later. Just hopefully that you won't find anything that you absolutely need here.
That is a situation where I wish I had an Avenger, because I would totally just Avenger Cecil and be like, all right, you have fun.
And this spot is also going to show off one of the deficiencies of this party, is that AoE damage just isn't happening unless you have some very good J items. You're going to have to single target these monsters down, and it's going to take a little longer than you would if you had, say, a Palom or a Ready in your party.
In the meantime, Solaris is working his way through this all gauntlet as well. We've got Morpheus and Jeebus taking on the DMs up in the Magasister spot.
And it does look like Solaris will be taking on this spot as well. And yeah, using the J items to good measure to try to get through these fights a little quicker than usual.
Commander with that all-important diet food drop.
Well, there could be a situation where you get turned into a pig and you can use it instead of a heal, I guess.
I mean, Rude Dark Elf somewhere, that might be a useful item.
Although I do find it probably not the best idea if you go out on date night and get some diet food.
Yeah, that's probably not the wisest of ideas.
Did you order seafood tonight, dear?
I'm more concerned why there's all these flying fish going around the living room. Thankfully, though, the way that Cecil and Rosa are outfitted, they're not even getting hit in the back row. It's hilarious that the Maiden Kiss drop on their side. That's the better item drop you want to see.
No, absolutely, yes. And now we do have Jeebus taking on Mega Sisters, and yeah, facing the wrath of those reflected spells. This could be a nasty situation.
Yeah, I don't think Jeebus picked up those mute arrows, and it's not good.
No. Meanwhile, I believe Leonhard and Solaris are both almost done with the gauntlet. I want to say this is the 5th fight here.
I believe it is, yes. So we're about to see what's in that second spot here in Baron Inn. That's a Shura. Guess what those mute arrows are going to do?
Quick work, if I have to say anything about it.
Leonhardt is going to berserk Rosa and say, "Have fun."
That's a
One
one shot.
Answer a question in chat. Yes, Maiden cures the frog status. That's music.
Well, that is one of those gaining key items if you are so inclined to go down that rabbit hole.
Who wouldn't want to take their date somewhere with nice, beautiful music?
And we have Cosmorphus now chancing his luck with the Magus Sisters.
Ooh, I just noticed Jeebus didn't actually save after defeating the Dark Imps the first time. Has to go through that fight a second time.
No, I don't. I definitely don't blame him for doing that. Not saving after that first fight of Zod, especially when you have this much power, at least how you feel about how you having this much power. I would certainly blow through that first fight and just go right to the second fight, and probably pay for the price as well.
Also, might be doing an inadvertent sister grind here. Gets that front sister down, but probably gonna have to life up Rosa, and will end up having a sister revived.
Not able to one-shot Cindy there, so yeah, this is probably going to be a recover on his side.
Yep, there's the remedy. He's just going to fight through it. Use that crystal sword to great use. Meantime, Solaris going to go raid that treasury now. Gets a little bit better into the deal. It's going to be able to go Twin Harp into Zod.
As long as he has access to exit, because obviously Cecil will learn it eventually, but I don't think he's at the levels yet. And I don't know if he has an exit item available. Otherwise, it's a pretty long walk back through Magnus Cave.
I know Solaris had a couple exits from the starter kit. Still has one in the inventory there, so it should be okay. No, don't get rid of the Medusa arrows. Okay, good. Casually tossing aside the Masamune and the Leviathan summon, though.
Well, you're not going to need it if you feel comfortable enough with money, then yeah, absolutely. Just clogging up the inventory. Cosmorphus gets his hook and completes objective number 3.
Jeebus is going into the Magus Sisters fight once again. See if we get through it this time.
But first of all, we've got some important business, and that important business is music. We're going to pause for a moment and let Commander Leonhardt let us know what's on Eddie's mind tonight.
Well, real fast before he gets to that point, great job by Jeebus. Takes out the back sister against the wall, and Minnie just fires her own sister. So she'll be fine this round. I have to say, this is so fitting for Commander Leonhardt, who is a huge FF8 fan, who gave us this flag set, and we have Man with the Machine Gun from FF8.
This is perfect. I'm sure he's laughing right now. Leonhardt getting through Ogopogo with the, not quite Quint Zerg strat, but the Duo Zerg strats.
That is just a pink tail. That's an adamant armor, though. So definitely going to be nice to see.
I was gonna say, there's no such thing as just a pink tail when no adamants is not a flag on the set. That's the one piece of equipment that basically is missing from our runners' kits right now. They're going to love to see it. Though it does mean we are running out of places where the Vanguard Key could still be hiding on the overworld. I think it is just about time to admit that we are going to have to go down the hook route.
Yeah, that's all the checks, I believe. Overworld. You got to go underground and find that Vanguard Key.
So again, you've got Advent Armor, Crystal Sword, Cecil. I don't think there's much that the hook route can throw at them at this moment that could scare them.
We have two runners in the same spot getting two different things there on that screen. As Jeebus gets the Sand Ruby from the Rat Tail, and Leonhard picks up his Adamant Armor.
And it looks like our second boss on the hook route is going to be Leviathan?
I was not looking at that screen, so I missed it.
Either Leviathan or Bahamut. I hate to say I get those two mixed up sometimes.
Was it a person in a purple robe, but not like the Mylon purple robe?
Yeah, it was Bahamut, yes.
Oh, it's Bahamut, okay. Leonhard going to do for Bull before going through that hook route. He's going to take on this Yang, pick up this Darkness Crystal.
One thing to notice is that because of the only key item locations in this flag set being K main, you're going to get to your 10 key item threshold pretty quickly in this seed and get that double experience boost turned on a lot faster than you would in other seeds.
Yeah, we're at 8 key items total that we can get to before we even go underground. You've got Hook, Darkness, Earth, Twin Heart, Sand Ruby, Luca Key, Rat, and Pink Tails.
So, if our runners choose to do a little bit of grinding, it'll be a rather quick grind at this rate.
Especially since we should be able to get number 9 for free from the Bull chest. And then Sheila 1 would probably be number 10. Get him without even having to fight another fight after the hook route.
Morpheus is going to let us see in just a moment who the first boss is.
Meantime, Solaris is taking on those Dark Imps at first spot of Zot. Commander Leonhard showing us there are buckets and coffins for sale down in Eblin. That's a nice find.
Very nice find. This is going to be a mom bomb with tackle in the first spot here.
Mom bomb's going to be a little rough, but with Tailwind Robe and Adamant Armor, I think you're fine.
So say if we had less equipment at this spot, I would be a little worried, especially because of the speed of this spot. But I do feel that we won't have much of an issue getting through this.
Yeah, Possum's going to mock his Cecil with that Crystal Sword and just go to town. To answer a question in chat from Oscar, Possum does not have an Adamant Armor. Speaking of Oscar, just want to again thank the behind the scenes folks. Oscar424 doing the restream, running and rolling this wonderful seed, and Paladin Aegis doing our tracking. Thank you guys so much for all your hard work behind the scenes.
I'll be interested to see the difference between Morpheus, who does not have the adamant armor, and some of the other runners who did get that pink tail and traded in for adamant armors, because Pasta did not get through the extra 10,000 HP that this spot has where the explosion does happen and breaks out into the smaller bombs. I'll be interested to see if the other runners have, with that extra boost given to them by the adamant armor, might be able to get through it before the explosion.
That's a very, very good point. Jeebus in the same boat. Jeebus still using a Dwarf Axe on his Cecil.
I wonder if he's using it for the agility decrease, trying to do a little agility manipulation on it. Because I know he did have that crystal sword.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Solaris, unfortunately, taking a white to those Magus Sisters. Gonna head back in and try it one more time.
Those have proven to be a potentially nasty boss at that spot for all of our runners tonight.
Also, I love Solaris getting the unintentional DKC bug, where it showed you were Dark Knight Cecil still, even though you were a Paladin Cecil.
Supposedly that's been fixed in the upcoming new release of Free Enterprise, which is just entered open beta.
Yeah, a lot of hype for that 4.2 beta. I'm sure we'll be seeing some of those flags in the coming weeks.
Some very new, interesting flags available on that. I can't try them out.
So Commander Leonhardt, even with the adamant armor, not able to get through before they explode. He's going to have to take on the small bombs, but shouldn't be that too an issue. Also, Morpheus going back, doing some re-equips before taking on Bahamut. Jeebus in Bahamut, and Solaris doing some re-equips to go into that Magus Sisters fights again.
As long as we've got the Star Veils for this spot, Bahamut should not be a problem here.
You just gotta make sure you keep those Star Veils up and they don't fall off.
And also, thankfully, you stock up on Bacchus wines, so you don't have to worry about casting Berserk through those walls.
So here's the thing, we've got 3 runners in the Bahamut fight at the same time, trying to be the first one to go underground. Who do you think gets there first?
I think Jeebus has a little bit of a head start here. My money would be on him.
Also, Solaris took the opportunity, equipped the Elven Bow on his Rosa. Should be able to make short work of this Magus Sisters fight this time around.
And this looks like all of our runners are managing the Bahamut fight very well. Jeebus is the first one through, and we'll get down to open up the Falcon. So 30 seconds at most behind the other runners here.
Yeah, Commander's Starveil on Rosa somehow fell off on accident, or either he didn't put one up. But Rosa had to fall, Cecil had to pick her back up. I guess Morpheus 2 right behind Jeebus.
So now with the underground opened up, we'll get to see if our runners will choose to go different spots. I think if me personally, taking the free shot at the chest down the Fey March and then checking out Sheila 1 would be the routing I would choose.
Commander Leonhardt through Bahamut, just behind Morpheus. You got Morpheus going into the room with the Falcon as Jeebus' Falcon is rising from the ground. And Solaris gets through the Magus Sisters, is going to pick up his hook and be able to one-stop the Adamant Grotto for both tails in one shot.
Yeah, even though Solaris is a little bit behind the rest, he has a chance of doing some more efficient routing and still has a chance to pick up some good time doing that. And we'll have the better equipment than maybe Morpheus or Jeebus with that extra adamant armor. Meanwhile, we are seeing a bit of a divergence here. Looks like Postmorpheus is going to take a look into Dwarf, whether that's just for shopping or for the boss. We'll take a look. Meanwhile, Jeebus is going to go down through Fame Arch. Again, K Summon isn't on, so we don't have to worry at all about who the bosses are down here. We can just completely ignore them, especially because we know where D Knight is.
Absolutely love those first two chests Jeebus grabbed were both ninja shirts. Meanwhile, I believe that was a Kanazo I saw jumping around on Postmorpheus' side. Yep,
That
that's
it
a Kanazo.
is.
And if I remember right from Zot, the second boss is a Lunar Sparkle. So we've seen Ogo, we've seen D-Liners. Still be our Wyvern.
True. We do have Witchburn on tonight on the flag, so we won't be getting a Mega Nuke to the face as soon as we say hello, but we'll get something else. We don't know what.
Oh, there's our freebie.
And it's the Baron Key. That means we know we have D Knight in our sights. And yeah, Leonhardt is noping out immediately, not even taking a look at the item shops down here.
In the meantime, Jeebus has full looted this Fame Arch. Probably not feeling very happy about the gear or just wants some extra money to buy some things. Awesome. In the meantime, is Sudak Kanazo, and we're about to find out what our Lunar Sparkle is. But first, this message from Rosa.
It's Pale Dim, that's that Sparkle. And Jeebus is showing us right now that there are sirens for sale down Fame Arch. So Leonhardt did not see that before leaving Fame Arch.
That could come back to haunt him a little later. Also, I just realized Jeebus might have been doing that extra looting looking for a pass. Because remember, passes in chests.
True. If you can avoid having to walk down the lunar subterranean in order to get to Zeromus, instead just go right through the pub in Troya, you're going to save yourself several valuable minutes. There's no other reason to go to Moon other than to fight Zeromus at this point. Meanwhile, Postmorpheus is through with that fight with Pale Dim, and we're going to see just what the necklace has. It's a tower key.
So it is a key, it's just not the key that normally is. In the meantime, Commander Leonhardt saying, I know where my objective is. I'm going straight through. Let's go ahead and get this done. Jeebus is hot on his tail.
It now just comes down to finding that adamant, finding that legend sword.
Awesome. It's got that tower key and says, okay, cool. I'll run towers. Let's go. Let's see what's up here.
If you're going to take the chance on the Dwarf Castle check, which is probably not the first check many runners will take, if you get the tower key, you might as well go ahead and keep going down that road. You have Jeebus doubling back and taking out those Baron Inn check.
That'll net them that Twin Harp, I believe. We'll have to see if he throws his Thor Rage in that third fight and gets to Electric Fish and just kind of heals him a little bit.
I'm not proud not to say that I've done that on occasion as well.
My favorite is when you go in there overconfident with the Quack Kid and then you realize you're flying.
One of these days I will remember which enemies are flying, which ones aren't. I always get surprised.
As a Glass Helmet, Adamant, Zeus Gauntlet, Crystal Sword Cecil on Solaris' side. I think he's ready to party.
That's a strong gear right there. And there is D Knight done for Leonhardt. 3 objectives down, 1 more to go. We've got a dancing wall at the top of the tower, by the way. I don't know if anyone took a quick look over there when they were walking down to raise the Falcon.
I did not see if anyone did. I'm sure someone did. In the meantime, we have Leg on the Baron throne.
It is Leg. It is a... It's not the vanilla Fiend, but it's Fiend nonetheless.
And by Leg, thanks for showing off. See you later.
Yes, normally you'd be worried because you don't have access to ice magic or any other black magic, but throw a crystal sword and a berserk on Cecil. I'm sure he can take care of business.
Oh, that is Baron Castle down. But first, a word from Rosa. Meantime, Solaris got through that Mom fight with ease. About to head into that Bahamut fight. Possum takes care of a wall at the top of the tower, and Jeeva's still going through this gauntlet.
7 minutes ago, 3 of our 4 runners were basically at the same place, and so it's interesting to see how divergent their routes have become since then.
And that was a legend sword to the top of the tower.
Could this possibly be the ultimate value tower? If Adamant is behind the tower key, that's a very interesting position for Possum Morpheus, because he would be going down to Feymarch pretty quickly, I would assume, and he would be in go mode, I think.
Meantime, I did not see what Leonhardt got from the Baron dumpster. Oh, it looks like a package. Hi, Wyvern. That's not going to do much here.
A for effort, but no, a Quake here isn't really going to do the business like a Mega Nuke would. So yeah, Wyvern is going to go bye-bye very quickly.
Meantime, Commander Leonhardt heads up. Fabul going to tell Sheila, hey, I found your husband after I defeated him after he was trying to re-enter the castle. He's hiding underground. That's a vanilla pan.
That's always interesting to see when Sheila 1 has the pan, because I know several runners do not like doing the Sheila 1 check until they find the pan. It makes sense. You want to try to do as efficient a routing as possible. So by having the pan be in the location, you're going to have to take several trips to Fabul and the Sylph Cave.
Jeebus, in the meantime, gets through that gauntlet, picks up their heart, and is now going to run straight into Baron Castle to complete objective number 1. Meantime, Solarius about 10 minutes behind the other runners getting underground, but still plenty of time to catch up.
And Possum Morpheus hit the bottom of the tower. We're going to see what the tower key was hiding tonight.
Are you kidding me?
It is Value Tower tonight. Adamant and Legend Sword. That is absolutely required.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, go to Dwarf Castle, complete your Dwarf Castle, and follow your chain.
Possum Morpheus is going to go straight to Kokol. And you got to feel for Kokol for in this situation here. He dreams all of his life for getting that adamant, to work on that adamant. You give him the adamant and this literally legendary sword with a legend inscribed right upon it. He works himself silly, trying to make the best sword he has. He gives it to you, and then you say, yeah, but I've already got a better one.
Life staff and arty arrows and ribbons for sale in Kokol. That is a stacked Kokol shop today.
That is some really nice equipment. As if you didn't already have a lot of good equipment, and just round out the rest of your slots with some of that good stuff.
It's like Possum Morpheus selling the farm to pick up everything he needs, and he's pretty much ready to go, just grind and go. Meantime, Solarius, feeling behind, is going to go check Luca. We unfortunately do know at this point this is not going to be any value.
Now, this is a very good variance play, especially if you do feel like you might be behind other runners, because this is not a location that lots of people would like to go to, especially with this party without access to warp. You're going to have to walk out if you find a good thing here. So the best thing for Solarius right now, if he finds something that's not very useful. Maybe the spoon down here.
Oh, thanks to Commander Leonhardt doing Sheila 2. That's the spoon, so this
Oh.
is going to be the magma key. Also, Jeebus getting the script kill on Ruby.
Well, that's impressive, especially at a location with not that many hit points. I think you have to get him down to maybe about, I forget, it's 5% or 10% of his base hit points before he does that.
Also, Morpheus giving us Job Dwarf, an employment placement specialist, if I saw that right. An employment and placement specialist. Thank you, Cliff. So there sees the magma key, immediately resets out.
That's good for him, because like I said, if he had found something worth a rabbit hole down there, it could have taken him even further astray.
Yeah, at this point, we know the runners need to go to Dwarf Castle and then follow that chain through the tower, and that is how you get go mode.
So that becomes, at this point, what levels do you want to be at in order to face the Romus?
So it'll be interesting if Possum remembers to check the shop here, realizing, hey, I got a Baron key, that's go mode now. Nope, it's going to remember to check the shop. It's going to see those sirens. Be probably very happy to see that.
That is going to make the grind so quick. He's not at 10 key items right now, but he will be once he gets through the Baron check, so he'll be able to do his grind very quickly.
A little surprised he's not selling the X-Cow. Don't really have a need for it.
Maybe he'll put it above his mantelpiece as a memento of what tonight was.
Maybe he's giving it as a gift for Rosa. Hilarious taking on Luge in the Fame March? Question mark?
It could be possible that he didn't remember that case summon was off, or maybe he's just looking for a little extra experience.
Entirely true. So Possum is heading over to turn in the Sand Ruby, complete objective number 4. Then we'll be heading to Baron to go complete objective number 1, and we might see if he just walks it out of Baron.
So that's always the question. Is it faster to walk back out of Baron, or is it faster just to beat the boss and go through that cutscene?
Well, here's the thing. If you're Possum at this point, you have not seen Golbez. And granted, you've only got 2 character members, so it's not like, but it might just be I don't want to risk there being some boss that's going to take a while there. Let's just reset out or walk it back out.
That's true, especially if you think that you are ahead. And since you did take that early dwarf check, which led you straight to exactly what you needed to forge the Excalibur, you might just say, I'll take the definitive walkout. I know how much time that'll take. Even if it's not the fastest, it won't catch me out in a longer fight on the throne.
And then Leonhardt doing Keyless Tower. So be good because, yay, Legend Sword, but bad because just do Dwarf first.
Jeebus is also taking the detour down here into Sealed Cave, but will be resetting out very quickly.
Solaris is in a world of hurt with this Luge, and that's a reset.
That's unfortunate.
And there's the Jeebus reset after finding the magma key. So even though this will not be an official 17 out of 17, it will be a virtual one because Jeebus going to where we know is the right place, going into that Dwarf Castle.
Again, I want to point out how about 15 minutes ago, these 3 runners, Commander Leonhardt, Morpheus, and Jeebus, were basically in a virtual dead heat, but just by dint of taking slightly different routes underground, we're going to have some very large gaps between them, I'm afraid.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about just your routing and making a gamble. Possum took the gamble of doing Dwarf and following its chain, and it just paid off in a big way immediately for him.
And there's Dark Knight down. Objective number 1 complete on Possumorph's side. That is 4 out of 4, and 1 crystal coming right up.
Now, Possum has not done football yet, does not have the darkness crystal, so I don't know if he's picked up a pass. He might not quite be ready to go to Zeromus yet.
That's a good point. I did forget that he did not do the full defense yet. So that's one. So he will be taking this fight on with under the hopes that he can find the darkness crystal in the trash can.
And will sadly not be finding that. I forget what was here, but I remember it wasn't anything.
It was the package that was here, yes. Leonhardt does find that legend sword up top. Still looking for that adamant, which unfortunately is right in that room that he's passing right now.
Meantime, Possumorpheus says, "Hi, leg, bye, leg, see you later, leg," and let's do this fight.
Jeebus got through Kainazzo with very little difficulty. And will most likely get through Pale Dim with very little difficulty. And Solaris is taking on that D Knight right now, getting that first objective on the board for him.
Considering all the rude bosses and all the free bosses, this seed has been relatively easy for our runners. Not even many free bosses out there. Only free boss I can think of was the Dark Imps that we saw. But not really throwing too much of a challenge to these two.
No, it's been fairly kind. There, especially with the issue of you might run into having only the 2 characters. I want to say that all of our runners have dealt with the party limitation very well.
So Possumorpheus picking up his package. Solaris finds his Rubicon. Says, "Hello, leg." About to say goodbye, leg. Jeebus about to pick up the tower key, which will lead him to the promised land.
And yes, we do see the issue with Possumorpheus is that he does not have a way to Zeromus right now. I think he's going to do some looting down here in Feymarsh, trying to find a pass in one of these chests.
I believe that is what he is doing, yes. And I do not believe there was one in the Feymarch.
I want to say we saw someone loot all that out, and I did not see them cut the pass. So no, we have not found. There are 3 passes in the P chest settings somewhere in chests in the world, and I don't think a single one of them has been found yet.
Yeah, none usually overground. 2, at least 1 underground, at least 1 moon, and the third one it could be underground or moon, if I'm not mistaken. I guess I shouldn't say underground, more as I should say gated. So they could technically be in Baron Castle if you wanted to go back and reloot Baron Castle.
I wonder if Possumorphus is going to go down Sylph next, maybe activate Sheila 1 and do that along the same time as doing the defense, in which case he would find the Dark Crystal, because he does have both of those checks open to him still. And they would both be relatively easy in this situation.
And at this point, if I'm Possum, I actually would think about, I've got those Sirens, I'd think about going ahead and just doing an egg grind and saying, okay, let's get the levels, and then we'll go hunting.
No, that is a very good point as well. That would be a good idea, because you know you got to get the levels at some point, and you're right here near where the eggs are, so why not grab them now?
Nope, he's going to head down to Luke. It looks like pop the Steel Cave, check down there. Meanwhile, Commander Leonhardt is done. Dwarf Castle picks up his tower key. Gonna run just a penguin special since he's already on the top. Jeebus in that evil wall fight. Solaris heading to Dwarf Castle himself to get his tower key.
If Possimorpheus finds a pass fairly early on in this location, we could have ourselves quite a race, because I do think after Leonhardt gets this adamant from the tower key spot, he's going to be ready to grind and go.
Well, Commander Leonhardt never found those sirens. Remember, did not go all the way into Feymarch. Exit out as soon as he found that Baron key. Jeebus, Possum, and Solaris, who has not gone down there yet, still have a chance to kind of find those. So
true, it would be interesting to see if Leonhardt realizes that he did not look down there and takes a second look, or that opts for an alternate grind.
I'll also be interested to see here once. Well, no, he won't know it's the adamant until he leaves. So I was going to say, he might try to check the chests here and see if we can find any of those passes as well.
We've got Jeebus doing the tower as well. Just completed the top of the tower, got the Legend Sword, going to get the adamant very quickly as well. He's also in the run to complete the seed first amongst our restreamed runners tonight. And with Solaris completing the Dwarf Castle and going to be pointed towards the tower, he's also got a very good shot right now.
Awesome, it's just coming up empty on these checks. No pass in sight. Enter question in chat. Darkness Crystal is from Fabul Defense. I'm running out of checks here in Luca.
It's one of those spots that you don't normally loot in your average run, so you sometimes forget just how many chests are down here.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that might be all of them, or there might be one left. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's empty.
That's a reset back out. And let's see where he decides to go next.
Meanwhile, Leonhardt, there's the adamant, and Leonhardt's in full go mode at this point.
Possum's going to go loot Dwarf Castle.
I think it has to be either Dwarf Castle or the tower. I think those are the only places left underground, or could be Self Cave. Oh, goodness, it could be Self Cave.
I would love if all the passes were in Self Cave.
That would just be too mean.
They could also all be in Upper Babel and everybody just passed them on their way down.
You have Jeebus and Leonhardt both completing objective number 2 at basically the same time. And Jeebus does have the Sandra return left to do, but he is also in go mode.
There's the curse ring on Possum's side. That might be helpful later, possibly.
This is sort of an open question as to what you will do at the Z fight when it comes to your agility manipulation. If you choose to say, I've got so much power behind me right now, just give me enough levels just to just go out there and I'll just kill him regardless of what Z does. Or if you're going to want to try to be a little more manipulative and try to get to a good agility number on your anchor. Be interesting to see what our runners choose to do.
Possum is like, okay, let's check tower for a pass now. The V-Type Commander Leonhardt says, I got everything I need. Let's go to the moon. Let's start making that walk.
And there is a pass right in the first rooms of the tower. Possimorpheus has the access he needs now. He just needs the levels.
So we've got a race here. We're going to see Possum doing an egg grind. And then we're going to have Commander Leonhardt heading up to the moon might just do a couple bosses up on the moon to get some levels and then go.
Especially since, like we said before, Leonhardt did not find the sirens. It might be his best option to just get the like the ribbon room. That's a lot of experience right now on his way to Zeromus.
Yeah, ribbon room and the Ogopogo spot both would be very, very nice XP. And again, we've got a lot of free bosses we have not seen yet. We've not seen the Water Hag, we've not seen King Queen Evelyn.
So just to point out where we are right now, Leonhardt is in go mode, needs some levels. Morpheus is in go mode, needs some levels. Jeebus is in go mode, needs some levels. Solaris, as soon as he comes down from the tower, is in go mode, needs some levels. We are shaping up for an excellent 4-person race to the end right now.
Yeah, it is still anyone's race here. Any of these 4 featured runners could go through and get take the win here. Solaris is a little bit behind, still hasn't done that Feymarch check to get the Baron Key, does not have objective, the Dark Knight objective done, but other than that is in pretty good shape.
I thought that since Solaris did look at the bosses very much, I'm pretty sure he does have the Baron Key.
Oh, you're right.
But he just hasn't done it yet.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see the Baron Key lit up on the tracker, so I didn't think it was done yet.
And surprise, surprise, on the Lunar Dais, we find a Rosa.
So in case any of these other roses weren't your type, how about a Moon Rosa?
And as we said before, it's going to be very interesting to see just how soon these runners feel comfortable getting to the Z fight at what levels they're looking for. Because right now, I look at Morpheus and Jeebus aside, they both have very good HP levels. So I would think at some point they'd be ready to go very soon.
Yeah, Commander is climbing down the LST. Solaris doing doors. I like this idea.
Doors are one of the grind options that are always on the table, but no one really likes to do it. But in this situation, I absolutely do like this idea.
I mean, you've got those ribbons you picked up from Coco. That'll prevent the instant deaths from the Disrupt. And you just go to town on these doors, pick up as much XP as you need. And Jeebus, I think, has said, I'm good with levels. He's heading to the moon. Morpheus still doing a little bit more grinding. And Leonhardt getting to that save room. We'll see what he decides to do.
This is so close.
And a tracker pointing out, Jeebus, I don't think ever turned into Sand Ruby.
Oh, you might mentally check it off as you got it. Forget to turn in. That has happened to me before. That could be really bad.
We'll have to see if Jeebus does an inventory check at some point. We can see if we just all missed it, or if he has a crystal, or what's going on. Meantime, Commander Leonhardt finds Odin up on the ribbon room. That's actually not that bad of a fight, especially with Crystal Sword Cecil going burr. In the meantime, we do have a first place finisher. Frostbite 3030 is finished in first place with 1 hour, 11 minutes, 54 seconds. GG's to Frostbite.
GG's. This is proving to be a very interesting seed, and it's going to be some very, very close times at the top, I think, given how our reshoot runners are doing tonight.
The looks like Possum says he's ready. He is heading to Troya. Gonna take that pass. It's time to get some flags out in chat. Looks like Jeebus just now realized, oh, I'm missing something.
Leonhardt survived Odin's attack with Cecil on 4 HP. Wow.
4 HP in a dream.
Unfortunately, that does mean that only Cecil got the levels. Rosa did get held back there. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. Maybe for agility purposes, that's not the worst thing in the world.
If you can get the Rosa up to Cure 4, that's all she really needs. And just let Cecil go to town and you Cure 4 after each Big Bang.
So as Morpheus turns in the pass, takes the express lane to the moon, there's a question we have to ask, and I see lots of flags out in chat. Gambit, would you like to do the honors tonight?
I'm seeing these flags. They've got a Z and a question mark. It's not bedtime. It's only 6 o'clock my time. I've got time to be awake. But what I think they're asking is, whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight?
We shall soon see, as Leonhardt does find one of those remaining free bosses on the moon there at the officer and soldiers fight. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice infusion of XP for his party. But again, possible for his heading into Zeromus, the big bad final boss. A little bit too powerful to randomize in with the rest of the boss pool. So we do something a little different with him. With over 400 different sprites, almost 450 if I'm not mistaken now, we don't move Zeromus from the spot. We do move what he has, or what he looks like. So we'll throw the crystal, Zeromus will change, and we will see exactly whose butt we get. One would say it was a metric butt ton of sprites.
Jeebus did realize that he had forgotten to turn on the sand ruby, but went right back, picked it up, now has the crystal, and is ready to go.
Uh-oh, it's the Pot of Greed.
Draw 2 cards.
It has been so long since I've played a Yu-Gi-Oh card game, so...
This is literally one of 2 things I know about that game, so yes. And when you have that Crystal Sword Cecil and a Rosa, what you do is looks like you berserk up to Cecil, let Rosa heal, and basically let the fight play itself out.
That was like exactly what Possum Morpheus is going to do. Through the Silk Web to start, let Cecil go to town. That's a Dark Elf at Ogopogo spot. That's not going to be very pretty. Okay, never mind. Crystal Sword Cecil go back.
Right. As long as you can get to the second phase, especially, it's not going to be a problem with that Crystal Sword because his white. He's got a weakness to those white or holy swords. In the meantime, we do
Solaris turning in the Sand Ruby. All 4 of our featured runners in go mode. Jeebus running down the LST. That is a dead Dark Elf, and that is a nice infusion of levels for Commander Leonhardt.
I'd have to take a look at Rose's HP, especially with that silver apple afterwards. That might be enough to do it.
In the meantime, we do have a second place finisher, Zoe Vermillion, in second. 1 hour, 16 and 26 seconds. GG's to Zoe.
GG's to Zoe. Looks like Jeebus has just finished making the save and is also making his way down to Z's lair.
And then Leonhardt heading back up. Looks like they're going to take a safety save. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them head on down shortly.
This has been a very interesting and entertaining scene to watch, at least from my perspective. Just seeing these runners come together and then go their separate ways and come together here again at the end so closely. It's quite interesting to watch. Slayer's making his way down the LST as well. I have not taken a peek at his levels recently. I don't know where he is. I don't know if he wants to do a little more grinding or not before he feels comfortable with taking on the Z fight.
Well, I know he took on pretty much all the doors down in Luca, so probably feeling comfortable with his levels. And we could legitimately see all 4 runners in this Z fight at the same time.
We have Jeeves throwing the crystal. We've got Leonhardt just going into the fight right now. And we have Possum Morpheus showing us some rocks on his side. We've got very, very short time before he is finished.
There's the crack boom. Possum Morpheus is finished in 3rd place. Final time of 1:18.17. GG's to Possum. We'll see if we can get him into an interview.
Absolutely, GG Possum, a great race. Really close race on all of our runners' parts. So yes, GG to Possum.
In the meantime, Solaris doing exactly what I thought. Takes the safety save and is going to make his way down. We'll have everybody else in that Z fight all together here. I believe we are joined by our 3rd place finisher, Possum Morpheus. GG's.
Thank you. GG's everybody who has already finished as well.
So, how did you feel about this flag set and the challenges it provided you?
I actually quite enjoy it. When Commander Leonhardt first proposed the challenge set, I know that I was one of the folks testing them, kind of getting some of the kinks worked out. So I had a little more insight into them, and I really like it. We all know about the power couple theme, and it certainly rang true and continues to ring true in Free Enterprise. So I really love the concept, and I just wish I would have remembered P-Chest was on before when I was, running through everything and not realizing it too late and having to double dip.
No, we were wondering because we saw you had the crystal and you're ready to go, except for the fact that you did not have access to the Zeronis fight, and you opted to look for a pass instead of doing more key item checks. Can you talk us through your thought process about why you did that?
I know that there's 2 passes in chests somewhere underground. So I was kind of thinking if a pass was in a very common location, for example, the first chest in the tower, I might have seen a dot done around like the hour mark. I thought that was pretty feasible with how good everyone in this community is. So my thought process behind it was kind of, well, I should be a little bit off the beaten path on this and check some of those more awkward locations first. And turns out that was not the right move. I should have just gone to the most obvious place, and I would have saved myself probably 6 or 7 minutes.
Do you want us to tell you where the darkest crystal was?
I'm assuming it's something like Sheila 1, and it was just there for the taking.
The Bull Defense.
Oh well, I never went there, so I got that hook, and I said, I know there's sirens underground, generally speaking, on this flag set, so we're going to rush it.
Do you want us to tell you where
we'll see what happens.
Darkest crystal was?
So I guess I got a little bit punished for the Rivers McCown special of the single dip Fabul, or the dream thereof.
Well, on the other hand, you did make a very nice run at Dwarf Castle as the first check underground, if I'm not mistaken, which led you to the tower, which had everything, and that really put you in a very nice position for the rest of the seed. Can you talk us through your thought process to why you went there as opposed to other locations?
Yeah, with K main on, I know that, obviously the density of checks underground, I want to try to clear up as much as possible to save the flights back and forth. I know that obviously Dwarf Castle is not a freebie by any stretch, but when you factor in the time it takes to fly back up and back down and do a long check like Sheila 1, even if it's coupled with the Fabul defense, if you get that out of the way and you get a pan, let's say, from Dwarf Castle, or you get the tower key, you go to the tower, you get a pan then, you're able to get all of these things that chain together that mean you only have to be underground one time. So that was kind of my mindset behind it, was I just wanted to do the full supermarket sweep of the underground and just not have to worry about a double dip there at all, if possible. So that was the logic behind that. Just try to clear out as much as possible.
You were very systematic in those checks, and it paid off for you doing that dwarf first, and then again tower leading to both Legend Sword and Adamant. How'd you feel again getting go mode and then having to go back and look for those passes?
I felt silly, honestly. Like I said, forgetting that P chest was on. When I first got underground, I should have looted Dwarf. And then when I went to the tower, I should have looted Tower. And I would have been done looting. I would have been done with all those ancillary checks after hitting that pass in the very first chest, basically, in the tower. So I felt pretty silly after clearing all of Feymarch and all of the Luca Cave and all of Dwarf. After doubling back, I really wonder how much I lost time-wise on that. Because I have to imagine it was pretty substantial. We're talking a number of minutes in a race that wasn't decided by that many minutes.
Oh, I'm happy you found it where you did, because I know I was rooting for it to be down in Sylph Cave.
That's not nice. I don't blame you for it, because if I were on comms or in chat, I would also probably have that same rooting interest. But that's not nice.
Well, GG's on the race. Congratulations on your third place finish. I think you did an amazing job tonight. And do you have any other comments you'd like to make?
Just thank you to the entire Restream team. Thank you, Oscar, for restreaming. Thank you, Flax and Gambit for comms. Thank you to whom the tracker is. I do apologize. I did not look it up, but thank you to the tracker or trackers. I know in a 4-person race, it's pretty sketchy. And there's a lot to follow, so that is an enviable task. And I'm sure whoever it was, or whoever's it was, did a great job. And then thank you as well for Commander Leonhardt for the Valentine's Day Power Couple flag set. It's an awesome set, and I thank you all for letting me run, and thank you all for letting me be part of the community as always. And I hope everyone has a blessed night. And y'all take care.
Thank you, Possum. GG's again.
Thank you.
In the meantime, we have had all the other 3 runners. Jeebus finishing in 6th place, time of 1:22.37. Commander Leonhardt finishing in 8th, 1:23.22, and Solaris wrapping up a good recovery on that Z fight with a time of 1:24.59. And we are joined right now by our 6th place finisher, Jeebus. GG's.
Thank you.
So, Jeebus, how'd you feel about that power couple seed?
I actually like that a lot, especially with the T Wildish treasure set. It's kind of uncomfortable to go through an entire seed with just 2 characters, but I guess if you had to pick 2 characters to do it with, Cecil and Rosa are definitely the 2.
No, I agree. When I first saw this flag set, I first thought that I don't know how I was ever going to be able to complete it, but as you and other people have shown tonight, if you have enough power behind that Cecil and Rosa, it's definitely doable.
Absolutely.
You were the only runner on the restream tonight, by the way, who went to that early Evelyn Castle dive and got that early Crystal Sword. I'm sure that must have been a good feeling to get.
I actually kind of expected most of the other runners to also get that on the Wildish flag set. That's a pretty common start, and especially on standard shops as well, because you want a lot of money to buy some items. And unfortunately, Rosa and Cecil, or Dark Knight Cecil rather, don't really have the strongest start in the game, so that's what I was looking for, some early jump in power. The Crystal Sword was nice, but it wasn't actually what I was really looking for in there.
Yeah, trying to get Rosa up and running online so you can at least get through ordeals and get Cecil going. How do you feel that Maga Sisters in the Valspot and Zot?
That was just had to be one of the worst possible draws you can pick for that spot. Especially if you're gonna go into it blind like I did, you probably should just save after doing the Maga Sister spot, because French vanilla Maga Sisters are really scary.
No, I was saying, I think Gavin agrees that so often in the Zot checks, you don't feel like you need to save between the two bosses, because especially at that point in the seed, you feel very powerful. And unfortunately, I think you found the one boss at that location that really gave you a run for your money.
Yep, it's like that, and there's Golbez, and there's a couple other ones. If Wyvern showed up there, that Witchburn Quake would have really done a number on the entire team.
Yeah, and speaking of that Witchburn Quake, just in the Tower Key room, that was kind of funny.
That was kind of funny. I gotta admit that I clenched a little bit. I was like, oh, that's Quake. That could be... Oh, right, yeah. Okay, moving on.
It was a very, very close run race, as I'm sure you see from the race room in Discord. And unfortunately, we were all saying we have a very close run race here on Restream, but then you forgot to turn the Sand Ruby, and we all felt terrible about that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, but I figured it out at least on the top half of the lunar subterrane. I'm not really sure if I would have closed in on... Definitely not first place, but I don't know if I would have closed in on Possum either way. I see that he actually did find the pass. Where did he end up finding one?
He ended up having, after fully looting the Feymarch, Tomra, and Dwarf Castle, went back to the tower and found one in the first room of the tower on the left-hand side.
I was thinking of picking one of those up, but I was just like, after doing as much looting as I had, I just didn't think it would be worth the extra time. Dang.
Well, the other thing is
he
did fade Fabul completely, so he never got the Darkest Crystal, so he thought it was his only way to get there.
Okay.
But still, excellent race on your part. 6th place is very good. Do you have any other comments to make about the seed or your performance?
It was a pretty fun flag set. I enjoyed this a lot. Maybe I should have practiced, but that's all right. Thanks to Leonhardt for coming up with it, and big shout outs to the community as always.
Well, thank you, and GG's again, Jeebus. It's always a fun time to watch you race.
Absolutely.
Have a good night, everybody.
You too.
So that was our 6th place finisher, Jeebus. Let's just go real fast before we get Commander Leonhardt in here over all of the finishes we had come up. After Possum finished 3rd, we had Sorberson forfeit 121.07, Flory 14 and 5th, 121.18. The aforementioned Jeebus 6th, 122.37. Roger McBain in 7th, 122.49. Commander Leonhardt in 8th, 123.22. Ploy Drac in 9th, 124.12. Lady SSJX Gears in 10th, 124.20. Stone Dingley in 11th, 124.26. And Solaris in 12th, 125.22. Tybalt in, Jay Brunter in 13th, 125.22. Tybalt in 14th, 125.52. I believe we are joined by Commander Leonhardt.
GG's, and congratulations, and thank you for coming up with this really interesting flag set.
You're quite welcome. Thank you, everyone that came out and tried it out. I appreciate it.
The first thing we have to ask you about is, could you pick better harp music for tonight?
It would be tough. It's, to be honest, probably 3rd. And it's a tight 3rd. Julia 1st, The Oath 2nd, and then this. So, given the large number of harp songs out there, I definitely have no complaints.
Yeah, as soon as I saw and heard what harp song was on, I was like, Commander Leonhardt just probably laughed his head off over on his side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. uh,
So my second question is, how did you feel about that treasury?
oh, that somebody stocks the treasury well for date night. I like, I don't think I need any loot. Maybe a white shirt for Z, but that's about it. I mean, ooh man.
Yeah, the only thing that would have been better if it had another spare adamant armor, but at that point, I think we're gilding the lily.
Yeah, that would have been better than a white.
And then following up on it, how do you feel about that Maga sister in the Val spot?
Very lucky. Like, it just, everything came up Commander Leonard in that fight. Cindy takes Cecil on the first shot. Rosa snipes her. Rosa snipes Mindy before I've got that backwards. Snipes the middle sister before a revive comes up, but the wall comes out in time to block that pesky charm. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you're the only restreamed runner who did not take your white to that Maga sister's fight.
I had a feeling that I'd gained a bit of time on that. I knew how badly it could have gone, and I could see that definitely bodying even a skilled runner for a few times, because unless you care to switch the adamant over to Rosa to block the charm, there's a little bit of coin toss happening there.
No, it was very well managed on your part. So by the time the end of the seed, you needed to find some place to do grinding. I guess you chose to do moon bosses to get your levels up.
Yeah. I was wondering if I was going to find those sirens on the moon, but they didn't. S standard does not guarantee sirens, and it's then just, choose. How do you want to get your levels? Moon bosses was kind of the thought of, hey, maybe I'll find some nice armor somewhere that I can use. And yeah, that's what I went with.
Unfortunately, I do have to say that everyone else did find sirens in Fame Art.
Oh, hey, guess who didn't check the Fame Art shop?
Yeah, you got that Baron key. I was like, exit out, bye.
Yeah, we knew exactly what you were thinking. But no, still very well managed. Do you have any other comments about this flag set or your race tonight?
That I thought this was an interesting mix for the flag set. I've done a few runs and done a bit of theorycraft with several people that have tested it, which, again, thank you all for helping me get this into community race shape. It was very generous on the gear side. It's intended to be. But at the same time, it definitely had its rude moments that tested what Cecil and Rosa could do. So I wouldn't even say it was in the middle. I think it was a bit more bell curvy both ways. And I'm interested to see how Friday rolls out.
I do have to commend you for coming up with a seed that only gives you 2 characters and looks on the face to be very difficult, but still plays exceedingly well. So really, thank you for coming up with this.
I'm glad to. And again, thanks for everyone to coming out and playing it. Thanks to the admins for showing it off for a community race. Asuka, thanks for a wonderful seed and restream as always. Gambit and Twisted Flax, thanks for the comms. I'm looking forward to going back and seeing what I could do better. I have a few things in mind already.
Thanks as always for volunteering and for providing us with an excellent show and an excellent race.
Yes, GG's. Yes, that was our 8th place finisher, Commander Leonhardt. We did have one more finish during the interview. Plasma Kappa's finished in 15th, 134.41. And as I said that, we have a 16th. Tell says relax, 136.49. GG's to them. But that is going to be it for us tonight. You have any final thoughts, Twisted Flax?
No, I think this was just a great race, and as always, it's been a pleasure working with you. And once again, shout out to Asuka and Aiden just behind the scenes, working the tracking and the restreaming. Always a pleasure to work with all of you.
Same with you, Twisted Flax. Always a pleasure to be in the booth with you. We are going to head over to Martin Broadcloak, who is doing, I believe, some beta flags with the open beta. Again, you can join our Discord. Take a look at the open beta that's currently going on. Again, no spoilers for this race, please. You spoil, you will get the bonk, as Oscar is pointing out in chat. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you for the next race. Next featuring race is tomorrow, Underground Racing Club at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Free Enterprise.